Welcome to Comic Power. I am your host, Comic Killer 72. Today we're doing a new segment called the Quick Flip. In comic book investing terminology, the quick flip normally means you have something for a very short period of time that you sell for a profit and had no intention of holding it for the long term. At my channel, I'm going to incorporate the phrase quick flip and make it mean real down and dirty, real fast information about this channel and other comic book news, and always under 7 minutes. Okay, now that you understand, let's go ahead and get right into it. And of course, the lead story is going to be Black Panther, which crushed it at the box office. I predicted that it would make $180 million at the box office, but it actually cleared $201 million at the box office. If you count the Monday holiday for the 4-day weekend, then it took in a whopping $235 million. This film more than lived up to the hype. Chadwick Boseman was fantastic as Black Panther. Michael B. Jordan was electric as Killmonger. And Letitia Wright was a scene stealer as Shuri, Black Panther's sister. I won't give you any spoilers because I know some of you haven't seen it yet, but seriously, what are you waiting on? This movie is terrific. Being that the movie just dropped and it is Black History Month, I'm going to be talking about Black Panther a lot for the rest of this month. I made a prediction in my last video that this movie would make $1.1 billion. That doesn't sound like a stretch anymore. It sounds like a conservative estimate now. I'll talk about it more in future videos. For now, let's move on. And that's going to be about DC issuing an edict from the very top explaining to their creative freelancers that mean-spirited tweets are against company policy. This is first reported by bleedingcool.com. It was a mass email sent by President Diane Nelson of DC Comics. Here's a piece of what it said in quote, DC expects that its employees and freelance talent community maintain a high level of professionalism as well as reasonable and respectful behavior when engaging in online activities. Comments that may be considered defamatory, libelous, discriminatory, harassing, hateful, or that incite violence are unacceptable and may result in civil or criminal action, end quote. In other words, watch what you say or we could fire your ass or even sue you. So why was this email sent out anyway? Well, it's pretty simple. There's a big backlash within the company about how they treated Zack Snyder. The official word was he had to leave Justice League because of the death of his daughter, unfortunately, but it turns out he was actually fired before that even happened. Joss Whedon was brought in to reshoot some scenes and to finish the movie. And he had the impossible task of trying to salvage this movie in a time frame that wasn't reasonable. So we got this mess of a movie called Justice League, which is just all over the place and was a commercial and critical failure. We didn't get the black suit Superman or some of the other stuff we were promised. So the DC brass threw Joss Whedon under the bus as well. He responded on social media expressing his unhappiness. So after all this big flustercluck, I think that DC is trying to put a lid and a gag order on their people. And it's coming down from Warner Brothers, which is the parent company of DC. And they're throwing the creative talent under the bus when it's them that screwed all this up with all their meddling. Hey, you hired Zack Snyder, it didn't work out, but don't try to chop up his vision. He needed to be given the opportunity to correct the mistakes he made in Batman vs. Superman and Man of Steel with Justice League, and he didn't get a chance to do it. So we got this gumbo movie which has the darkness of Zack Snyder with the brightness of Joss Whedon, and they just don't work together. So it's just a big mess over there at Warner Brothers, therefore DC, and this de facto gag order isn't going to work. It just makes you look even more inept. If you're a hardcore DC fan, don't be mad at me because I'm just telling you the truth. I love these characters. On the Mount Rushmore of comic book characters is Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Spider-Man. 3 of those 4 characters are DC properties. They have great characters, but the people at Warner Brothers are screwing this up. Out of 5 movies, the only thing that's really worked has been Wonder Woman. So if you're mad, send your hate mail to the brass at Warner Brothers, not pundits like myself that's just telling it like it is. You know what's next? Next up is the speculation pick of the week. And that's going to be Taarna, #1 from Heavy Metal magazine. Heavy Metal has been a magazine through its publication history, first launched back in 1977, and they actually predated Star Wars by about 3 months or so. They've been delivering sci-fi fantasy for 41 years with some outstanding art and storytelling. And Taarna is probably one of their most famous characters, making her debut in Heavy Metal Volume 5, #5. She was the lead star in a 1981 animated film, and we're talking R-rated raunchy that you expect from something like Deadpool. This movie was spoofed by the animated series Southpark and their episode Major Boobage, where Kenny gets high off a cat pee, I'm not making this up, and in his hallucination, he goes to the fantasy world of heavy metal and meets Taarna and fights for her affection. It makes fun of the over-sexualized world of heavy metal metal, but it did a good job of introducing heavy metal to a new generation of fans. The soundtrack to heavy metal is fantastic, by the way. SAMMY, HAGAR and some other rock stars have some great songs on it. But anyway, in terms of the comic, there's 2 different covers. Both are drawn by Alex Ross, who always delivers some exciting covers. The Taarna character is influenced by Red Sonja. She's described as a strong, beautiful warrior maiden who resolves to avenge a city destroyed by a horde of mutant barbarians. The Taarna character seems to be a big influence on other characters after her, such as Angela and Spawn, Rose, and Reborn from Mark Millar and Greg Capullo. So definitely pick up this book, whatever cover you can find at your local comic book store, and be sure to go ahead and see the movie as well. It's really, really good. And of course, the Southpark episode is a must-see. I'll give you a link in the description on where to find it. The runner-up of the week is going to be Black Panther Annual #1. What's so interesting about this is they're bringing back Christopher Priest to write some stories in it. This is significant because he had a run on Black Panther start in 1998 with Black Panther #1 Volume 3. It's the first appearance of the Dora Milaje. That's Black Panther's all-female security force of Okoye, Nakia, Anika, and Ayo. Yep, the ladies you saw from the film, that's them. I'll explain it more in a future video. Over at Fox, Deadpool 2 comes out in May, and they have some of the best marketing you ever saw in terms of social media. Did you see this picture of Deadpool drawing Cable, and he made him look like Thanos because the actor that plays him, Josh Brolin, plays both characters. So guess what? There's a fan-made version of this that flips this that has Cable drawing Deadpool. And Deadpool looks like he did on X-Men's Origins Wolverine. It was so bad, the only thing you can do is laugh at it. Can't wait to DP2. You know the drill. Subscribe to this channel, give it a thumbs up, and share it on social media so others can learn about comic power. Once again, thank you to all my subscribers and viewers. It only gets better from here.